Welcome back. We've had our break. We're now going to go into a discussion now about the England squad announcement from the last week. Where do you guys want to start? So we'll start with the goalkeepers, yeah?
Might as well.
Yeah, man. Right. So obviously Pickford picked up an injury just before the announcement was made, so he wasn't going to make the squad. And we've got Henderson, Johnston, and Pope. Any opinions?
No Ramsdale, maybe?
No. Ramsdale isn't good enough yet.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If you compare to the other three, Henderson, if there's any of these three that argue doesn't deserve the spot, it would be Henderson. Purely because Johnston and Pope are first team goalkeepers and have been all season, and have been pretty good all season.
Yeah.
And Henderson has only played a handful of games at the moment. Yeah, he's done all right, but he hasn't been to the levels of Johnston and Pope. So if you were going to put Ramsdale in, I'd take Henderson out.
Yeah. I'd agree. I wouldn't disagree.
I wouldn't even put Ramsdale in.
I wouldn't put Ramsdale in either, because I don't think he's as good as these three.
I'd take him in just for, obviously, so he's got the experience in it. So
Yeah, but why would you take him over Johnston then? You also have anything.
no, I wouldn't take him over Johnson. I'd take him over Dier. Because
okay.
Because the number one keeper here is Nick Pope. He's
definitely.
He's starting above Hendo and Johnston.
In that respect, why wouldn't you take Che Adams for experience?
Because he's Scottish, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah, he chose
Che
Scotland.
Adams is a Scottish player, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but he was English and he could have been called up for England. He just chose Scotland. But the
Same as
conversation,
Haaland.
yeah, but the conversation we had the other week was that I'd take Che Adams for experience because he's getting to really good levels, and I was hounded for it.
I'd say there's better people to take other than him for the experience, though. Like your Antonios, like your Bamfords.
Yeah, exactly.
Antonio should
Like
be in the squad.
Bamford hasn't had an experience,
Yeah, exactly.
so
But I just
That's
wouldn't
not
take
even
Ramsdale.
Antonio. Yeah, out of those three, I think Pope is definitely the number one. Obviously, we've got 3 games. We've got Poland, San Marino, and Albania. So, you can play like Johnston, for example, against your San Marinos and whatnot to give him,
Experience.
a first cap and give him that experience, which he does deserve because he's been awesome this season.
yeah,
He just has. He's been Albion's best player all season, and I think Jim would accept that.
I think closest person to him is probably Bartley.
Bartley, yeah.
That's literally
Bartley,
the
who
only
hasn't
one.
even played all season.
Exactly.
Stressing me out. He should have been, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has been our best player.
Right,
100%.
defenders.
Let's our elephant in the room is that we had a big debate with one of our friends about the left back spot, and we all disagreed with him. But
He's a Villa fan.
I feel like we have to put this opinion in there because it is going to be a valid opinion, and that Matt Targett wasn't picked as a left back, and that's purely because Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell are twice the player Matt Targett is.
100%.
I can't
Look
believe it.
what Shaw's been doing, you know what I mean, this season.
Also-
he's in a United shirt. He's
Also-
in the form of his life, so
I know
of
we
course he's
did.
going to get a call up.
I know he did say he wanted Matty Cash in as well, and after the performance Matty Cash in put against Spurs, it just kind of proved that he isn't. That's why you
Matty
shouldn't.
Cash. But going on Villa players, and we're talking about defenders, Ezri Konsa definitely should be in the squad.
Harry's not in the squad. Like
Yeah, 100%.
Tyrone Mings has been good.
Tyrone Mings
but-
has made it, yeah, literally.
Tyrone Mings has made it, but the discussion that we had again with this debate with Lewis, who's the Villa fan, was that Eric Dyer's gotten in and Ezri Konsa has missed out. Now, if you take Dyer out and exclude Konsa from the conversation at the moment, are there any other centre backs you can put in to replace Eric Dyer? Just excluding Konsa. Off the top of your head.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. Jim?
Michael Keane's not in there.
Yeah, I didn't even think of Michael Keane.
Yeah,
that's a good
Keane's
point.
Michael Keane's not even in the squad.
Yeah, and after his season so far, I think, especially since January till now, when you consider that Jessie Lingard, based on his performances from January until now, has gotten in, you can't discredit Michael Keane's performances.
Yeah. And Konsa. Like Michael Keane and Konsa are the two players that 100% deserve to be taken with England. And he goes, Eric Dyer, mate.
Yeah.
Do you want to get in the bus? Oh, yeah.
I think the thing is, he's took Eric Dier because he's so versatile. He can play centre back, he can play CDM, he can play centre mid. He can. That's why he's a good rotational player.
So-
that's why.
But
But
the issue I have with that is, sorry, the issue I have
no.
with that is, he can be versatile and he can play anywhere in all these positions, but why not take the best in each position rather than a versatile player?
Because to be fair, if you think about it, obviously, if you think about the best in each position, the best two there would be Maguire and Stones.
Yeah, but so like you've picked Maguire and Stones, and obviously Dier as cover. Well, he's technically cover for the cover in case the cover gets injured. But why not just take really good cover? So if your Stones and Maguire do get injured, you've got Michael Keane, Concert, and Mings to step in and cover. I'd see it's a no-brainer for me. Whereas Eric Dier he is a good player because he's obviously playing in the Premier League, but he isn't as good as all them that we've just mentioned. He's nowhere near. And then you put him in the midfield, he's not as good as any of our midfielders. So why take him at all? Like, no disrespect to Eric Dier, obviously. Like, he's like, I'd have him at the Albion any day of the week because he's a really good player, but he's not the calibre of what we're producing for England at the minute in defence and midfield.
I think the thing is Dyer's got a lot of experience with England as well.
That's what I was going to say.
He's played for England for a long time. He's got a lot of experience, and obviously because of his versatility, he is able to play in multiple roles, and it just gives Southgate a good option. Because if you think about it, in mid-game, if you wanted to, so let's say you just play Dier as a centre mid or DM, and he goes, okay, we're going to defend this win now. I can rely on Dier to come centre back and play centre back role, and then we got a 5 at the back. That
I still
can happen.
I still think it's pointless because if we're winning anyway, if we're winning anyway, and say it's a 90th minute and we've brought on, I don't know, Jude Bellingham, we've brought on. Yes, say we bring on Calvert-Lewin, Rashford and Jude Bellingham to try and win us the game, and we've gone 2-1 up and it's the 90th minute. Why is Eric Dier in the squad anyway? Why is he playing anyway? If we're going to take him for experience, take somebody who's good. Don't just take Eric Dier because he's got experience. I think it's a waste of a space. I'd rather take a young kid. If you're going to use him and use him as cover for cover and his versatility and his experience, then take a young kid in that position to get his experience up. Because there's no point taking experience when him and Harry Kane are the only two experienced England players in that squad. So look at the squad. Like, your Ben Chilwell has only just started, like, really breaking onto the scene with Chelsea, and the year before he was signed for Chelsea with Leicester. So he's fairly fresh. You're taking Walker and Trippier anyway, so there's your big-time experience. Luke Shaw has been in and out fluttedly, so he's not that experienced. Your whole centre-backs are experienced in Maguire and Stones now. Maguire's been to a World Cup. Stones has been in the frame since John Terry retired. Like, you've got all them. Then midfield, we've got a fairly inexperienced midfield, I will say. Like, it is literally fresh kids off the block midfield. But then up front, you've got your experience in Harry Kane and Rashford and Sterling, who have all been to a World Cup as well. So why even bother with Eric Dier? You've got that many players that have already been to a World Cup, been there, done that. You don't need another waste of a space in Eric Dier. Just put a young kid
I
in.
don't think it's a waste of a space. I see where you're coming from, but I feel like because of what he adds to the team, he just gives you that extra cover, that extra reliability, and I think like he can on his day he can do a solid job at centre back and in centre midfield.
Okay, I've got a question for you then. If that's the terms, who's your midfielders? What formation would you play with England right now?
Probably a 4-3-3.
A 4-3-3, right? Give me your midfield.
The
players.
He wouldn't make my midfield and wouldn't make my defence. I know what you're trying to ask.
Yeah.
But
so
I'd have him on the bench, and if I wanted to make a substitution, he'd be one of the people I'd look towards.
So are you playing 2 holding or 1?
It'd be 2 holding, 1. Well, it'd be like 2 centre mids. One will have like a deep line role.
4-2-3-1.
Is that what you? No. 4-3-3.
So you'd have a defensive. You'd have your Kante, your Jorginho, and then
Oh, yeah,
your
you're
attacking
right.
mid.
I'd have a cam. So
Yeah.
obviously, I realised I
So
did 4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1.
So
but you
you-
could still say it as a 4-3-3.
So you'd have
Yeah,
your
yeah, definitely,
Kante, you'd have your Kante, your ball-winning midfielder, then you'd have your Jorginho, your deep-line playmaker midfielder, and then your Cam.
No,
Is that what you're going to say?
no, so basically, so this is going to be this. Obviously, there's no Wan-Bissaka and there's no Trent in here, which has also shocked me as well.
What out of them?
And he's brought Reece James in, which is also a right back.
Like
Obviously, he's brought him in for the experience.
out of the three, like Trent obviously has performed poorly this season. But one thing I have seen is, by all means, for this particular round of qualifiers, I don't mind it because we are playing weak opposition. I think Poland don't even have Lewandowski going for the travel restrictions, so even then it's a completely weakened side. I don't know if that's true or not yet because I know Bellingham's still coming.
Jude Bellingham doesn't have to do the 14 isolation. I just think
I don't know if Bayern have said. Yeah, I don't know 100% if that's happening.
Bayern wanted to risk it.
Yeah, but overall, those three sides that we should piss basically, especially San Marino and Albania. Poland are probably the only like roadblock, but even then, we should be miles ahead of them, absolutely miles ahead of them. So I don't mind not taking Trent at the moment because he hasn't been in good form, and when it comes to the Euros, I'd still take him purely because if you're going on the last 18 months or so, he's been the best right back for England.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka, I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around why he hasn't gone. I just can't.
Out of fullbacks, well, right back. The three right backs you're taking are Trent, Wan-Bissaka, Reece James. All three of them are all going.
Nah, I'd take Walker.
But you can put Walker as a centre back in the back three. That's the thing. You can class Walker as a centre back. That's perfectly fine.
So then,
I know.
That's what I mean. So then I'd put him in as a centre back. You've got to take Reece James, Wan-Bissaka, and Trent. You got to take all three. You can't miss one out. Not the way Reece James has been playing because
it's so Trippier though. Look at him; he's doing bits with Atletico. You know what I mean?
I know,
he could
since
win
he's moved to Spain, he's been awesome.
Yeah, I know.
He could win the La Liga. You know what I mean? Chelsea are going to win the Premier League this season.
Yeah, but neither are you. Neither are Liverpool. That's the thing.
Yeah, no,
but
we're
you'd still take
Wan-Bissaka
and Trent, even though
still above Chelsea at the minute. That's what I'm saying.
Even though Reece James has performed better than both of them, which he has.
He hasn't. Wan-Bissaka's been way above Reece James.
100%.
Way above Reece James.
I think personally Reece James
has been good, but Reece James has been in and out too much. He hasn't had a solid starting spot, especially on the Tuchel, because he seems to play. He plays Hudson-Odoi right wing back a fair bit as well, over
which is weird.
Reece James is a much better. Like, give Reece James a couple of years, and he'll probably overtake Wan-Bissaka. But if you're going on form, and the last two seasons. You take Trent and Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
And it's why I don't understand Wan-Bissaka. I feel sorry for him for not getting a call up before this because being at Palace and his first season at United was okay. It was a bit here and there when he couldn't cross, but he was a great defender. This season, he's been a great defender and his attacking has improved. Like, I just don't understand why he's not there.
Yeah, I don't get it too.
He's too good.
It's a weird thing. He's probably taking James for the experience, but obviously,
I like I said, I understand not taking Trent
because maybe at the Euros he might actually take Wan-Bissaka. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like I understand not taking Trent for these specific qualifiers. I completely do because he hasn't been on form. It's free qualifiers. We should win no matter what team we put out there. Yeah. But Wan-Bissaka, I don't understand because his form's been up there. He's one of the best right backs we have as an actual fullback rather than a wing back on your Arnold's and your Reece James. But as a fullback option.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like, Walker being as a centre back, so you could take an extra fullback. But that's so Eric Dier misses out. But as Dale said, he'd have him on the bench. But I'm trying to get to who you're playing in your three of midfield. Or the two defensive midfielders. Who's the two that sit there?
Are we going on in general or from this squad?
This squad right now.
It'd probably be Declan Rice. A mixture between Declan Rice, James Ward-Prowse and Calvin Phillips. I'd have a tough time picking between the three of them.
So it's one of those three?
It'd be them three. They'd be my two holding players.
So one of them...
And then, obviously, my cam would either be Jessie Lingard Phil Foden or Mount. But obviously, I'd be torn between more Phil and Jessie because the way they're both performing. Jessie's got more experience, of course. Jessie's also played in the England shirt, but Phil Foden's a quality player, and you can't
Would you not
knock
put
him.
Mason Mount there? Because Mason Mount has been exceptional this season. Absolutely incredible this season.
So I mean, my defensive midfielders, if we were going to play that, it'd have to be between Rice, Phillips, Ward-Prowse, and Mount.
I wouldn't put Mount. I wouldn't put Mount.
I wouldn't put him exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't put him in defensive.
I'd put Mount as the spear holder, number 10.
But I wouldn't even have two. I'd have one. I'd have one sitting and two forward. I'd have a 3, but I'd have one sitting, 2 up, so you can be better like that. But what I will say is, if you put in, say, Ward-Prowse or Rice or Phillips there, that means one of them is on the bench, which means you still have no need for Dier, because one of them can come on, who's a better player than Dier.
Yeah, but you can have the likes if you want to defend the lead, and you've got Calvin Phillips on the bench, who isn't much of a defensive player compared to Eric Dier. You'd bring Eric Dier on because he's that option.
I still think
if you push him to win the game, you'd bring on Calvin Phillips. If you push him to defend into the game, you'd bring on Dier.
I still think Phillips can defend though. I still think Phillips is an alright.
Not to Eric Dier's standard though.
Yeah, literally, Eric Dier's
But if
different.
you put him next to Rice, I think it'd work. I just don't think bringing Eric Dier on would benefit the squad in that kind of sense. As a centre back, he's good, but if you again are trying to defend and you bring in somebody on, why not just bring on an actual centre back? Like if
Eric Dier.
No, if Tyrone Mings or Michael Keane or let's say, or even
the good thing about Eric Dier as well.
I don't think Connor Cody should be.
I agree with that. But you see, the thing is, more today's players, the defenders are becoming more ball-playing defenders. They've got to be able to play one-touch passes and ping a good ball. And obviously Dier, because he's played a lot of his career in the midfield and he's developed to play at centre-back in games, played for England at centre-back, he's played in Tottenham at centre-back. He's a ball-playing defender and he can pick up and he can make a pass on. You know what I mean? Because he's got that ability, he's got that in his locker. It's a much more comfortable and safe role.
Who's your starting right-back?
My starting right back out of this would be, for me personally, Kyle Walker.
So there's a right back on the bench. So if you're defending the lead and want to go to a back 5, if you're defending lead and want to go back to a back 5, you can bring on a right back in Wan-Bissaka, who's uber defensive, and move Walker into the
squad. Team. He's not in the squad.
Yeah, so... but okay. So if Wan-Bissaka's not in, so bring on Trippier or Reece James, who are also very capable at defending, and move Walker into centre back, and then you're playing 5 at the back. Still no.
Yeah, but if you want to play
Dier.
defensive, and hold a result out, you wouldn't put Walker in as that centre back partnership.
I would with his pace and ability to read the game. I definitely would. The fact that if you're holding out,
his pace, all it takes is a big striker to bully him, and it's over. Put Eric Dier in, he ain't getting bullied.
Well, that's when the marking comes in, and you'd be like Harry Maguire, mark the big ass striker. And then
the big ass striker then moves Eric Dier, and then you've got one striker marking 2 defenders, and then you've got someone free.
Obviously, the big striker's going to have a free row. I mean,
that's when you
can't have
off.
If Maguire's centre or left. You know what I mean? The big striker can just literally follow Walker around the pitch and just run through Walker and bully him around. Doesn't matter where you chop and change and move him.
Not necessarily, because you just then talk about it on the pitch. You'd say he's following me about. So then you just make sure that Walker is free and just make Maguire mark him. You just man mark.
So if Walker's free and that striker then goes to Kyle Walker, you're telling Harry Maguire to completely ignore everyone else and go and mark that striker next to Walker. So you have 2 defenders marking 1 person.
Yeah, but if Walker's on the right and Harry Maguire's on the left and they're attacking, obviously Walker's got to deal with it and he's capable to deal with it. If you've got a big, strong striker, he ain't going to be that quick.
That's what I'm saying. If it's in the air and it's a cross coming in, you want Eric Dier having that header rather than Kyle Walker.
100%.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but then if we're in a back 3, what's Michael Keane doing? If there's one striker up front and
he's not in the squad.
We're talking
not
about
Michael Keane, sorry, John Stones. Sorry, I'm confusing him. But what's John Stones doing? He's just sat in the middle doing nothing, so he has a chance to go and clear that header. If the cross comes in,
a back 3, one other thing you got to think about is people's like formational awareness and positional awareness. If we play a back 3, John Stones is going to struggle.
Yeah or no? I'm not disputing that John Stones is going to struggle in a back 3, but as you just said, if you need to defend and go to a back three, you put this to me that if you want to go to a back three, you want Eric Dier there to sit in. So what's the point of going into a back three if John Stones is going to struggle? Still no need for Eric Dier.
Because John Stones is going to struggle.
You just said John Stones will struggle in a back three.
So this is what you.
So Eric Dier would go into the back three.
Yeah, you take John Stones out, you bring Eric Dier in,
so
and
why
then
would
obviously
you take,
you bring on your right back.
So if you're defending a lead, why are you taking off a centre back for a centre back? You still have no need. There's still no need for Eric Dier.
Listen. There is, because John Stones is going to struggle in the back three. Eric Dier would not struggle in the back three. He would sit in and slot in perfect, and obviously Walker then come into the back three, and you can bring on your right back as well.
But you just said you wouldn't have Walker in a back three.
I didn't say that.
If you defended,
I said that. Dal didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
So if you're defending a lead and you want to go to a back three, you're taking John Stones off and Kyle Walker off. Compared collectively between you, you're taking two defenders off for one.
I didn't say I was taking
No, but
Kyle
like
Walker.
collectively, right? John Stones will struggle in a back three, and you wouldn't have Walker because of a big striker in a back three. So therefore, you're taking off.
I'm not taking off two defenders. I'm taking off one defender.
You can move Kyle Walker into the right back. You don't have to put him in the back three in that situation.
So then, why are you bringing Eric Dier on when you can bring on a better
to be in the back three?
Yeah, but you can bring on a better centre back. You got Tyrone. You got Tyrone Mings sat there, who's lived in a back three.
Who doesn't know the system? He hasn't lived in a back three. Villa play back four.
Yeah, they play a back four, but he was part of a back three, and then he got moved into a back four, and then he literally played in the back three for England and played very well.
It's for England. We've got Mings, who's played for England, but not a lot. He's still getting used to the system. Dier's played for England for the last 5 years.
Exactly, it's a consistent person. But it's a veteran person.
Let's be honest, they've all had the same amount of preparation for a back three then. For the rest of them, because Maguire is a back two, but he will slot into a back three fine. Same as
again,
Walker.
because he played for England a lot longer than Mings has.
Yes, but it's still a new system. It doesn't matter how long.
It's Gareth Southgate, yeah, and Southgate brought it in. The Southgate system.
Southgate brought it in around the same time he decided to start picking these fringe players, which are playing well, and not so much the top players. That's what I'm saying. But you're saying if John Stones can't do a back three and Kyle Walker moves out to right back, you still got to fill in that extra centre back role
with Eric Dier.
Listen,
yes. So you're taking off John Stones for Eric Dier.
Please.
No, let me finish.
Because we've said it 4 times already.
No, Eric Dier comes into a back three. Yeah, makes it a back three. But
yeah,
John Stones,
you can take off.
So John Stones doesn't work in a back three. So you've got to take John Stones off for Eric Dier. That's what the conversation is about bringing Eric Dier on. He doesn't start, he comes on. So you're taking John Stones off to bring on Eric Dier for a back three. You still have 4 defenders on. So who sits in that other centre-back role if you push Walker at right back? No one. There's still no need for Eric Dier. You're not filling the extra spot because you've moved Walker over to right wing back. You've took John Stones off, your defender, to bring Eric Dier on, who's a defender. You still have to fill that extra third space. So you got
the original argument that we had to start off with. We've gone off topic here and we've mixed up our words. The original argument that we had was we'd start with the back four and we bring Eric. We wouldn't take a defender off at all. The original argument was we'd bring Eric Dier into the take a midfielder off, put him in, and then slot him into the back three. That was the original argument.
Yeah.
Yes, we've gone off topic, and me and Dal have got it wrong in that sense that we've mixed up the player numbers and we can't get the formation right.
Hang on, listen, there's not because I haven't said it. That's what I'm saying. Jim's been saying stuff, and I haven't been able to get my words across. So, this is what would happen. So, you take off John Stones for Eric Dier, correct?
Mm.
Walker would either move into the back three because he's done it, or you'd keep him out on right back, and you could still bring on another centre back. You would further take a midfield off. I'm not saying you take 2 defenders off. You just take a midfielder off. That's what you do. And then literally you can't. You take off either James Ward-Prowse, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, or Mason Mount, or Link. Whoever's starting, you take off an attacking player. It's logical. That's what you do when you're defending a league. So basically, what will happen then? You're liable to go into a back 5. Correct.
Yeah,
I'm not taking off 2 defenders. I'm bringing on 2 defenders. So I'm bringing on Eric Dier, and let's say I'm bringing on. Go on, then we'll bring on Kieran Trippier on the right, and Walker sitting centre back. So then at the back we got, let's say for example, Maguire, Dier, Walker. Left back we got either probably Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw.
Okay.
Left back Luke Shaw,
Oh, yeah,
and then
it's Luke
right
Shaw.
back we got
Trippier.
Kieran Trippier. There's your 5.
I understand that. Okay.
We'll take off Lingard. We've took off Lingard.
Okay, you take off.
I've never said I was taking off 2 defenders, and that's the perfect 5 then. And you've got Dier sitting in there.
I understand that, and you move Dier in and say you take off Lingard and that. The only reason I say that is because the way the formation would work, you'd have to slot somebody in, so you lose a midfielder anyway. So you've only got 2. So if you take Lingard off, and by the sense of it, you're keeping Rice on, and
obviously, it's a quick intervention. The beauty of it is, let's say, for example, we actually are playing for the win. You could literally take off Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane, Rashford, Sterling, or Watkins, whoever's playing striker at that moment. You could take them off, and if Phil Foden's in camp, he can do what he's been doing all season for City. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, but it'd be different because Southgate doesn't know that system. It wouldn't work. That system wouldn't work.
But the thing is, though, Phil Foden knows that system, and Phil Foden could literally still.
That's the issue.
Phil Foden could still play that role.
But the only
Walker
issue
knows
is,
the system. Walker would know how to go up there and give the ball to him. You know what I mean? Walker
but you've just moved him into centre back.
Yeah, but Walker is still from centre back, can still ping the ball. And if you look at it, the way England plays, if you look at England last time he was in the World Cup, Harry Maguire was playing left winger. So centre back's a very attacking player. So Walker can still attack as well.
Yeah, so
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that's doesn't matter if the players at centre back. They can still attack.
We're digging in and holding out. So you've took off Lingard. Right? So Lingard's come off for Eric Dier, who's going to slot in. And then you take John Stones off to bring Trippier on, right? So now you've got 2 defensive midfielders sat and 3 attackers, which is fine. But if you have Declan Rice and Ward-Prowse there, do you reckon Ward-Prowse can dig in and defend?
This is what I do. Obviously, this is another versatile thing what you can do, and it's all about down to training and how the players react. So you could literally, what could happen is, you could actually keep on, let's say we keep on Jessie Lingard and we take off James Ward-Prowse. And when we're on the attack, Eric Dier slots into the midfield. And when we're coming back on the defence, Eric Dier slots back into the 3. But obviously, Eric Dier is having a more defensive role. He's just sitting behind Declan Rice. Declan Rice is the main midfielder, but he's sitting behind him on the right-hand side. But Eric Dier is there. And when they're on the counter, Eric Dier slots back in.
Okay, but doesn't Declan Rice do that for West Ham anyway? Same as Henderson. If Henderson,
it can be vice versa because Declan Rice can play centre back as well. That's his versatility.
So in that sense, then we'll come back to full circle. If you're taking off John Stones for Dier and bringing Trippier on and moving Walker into the back 3 anyway, there's a lot better defenders that you can bring on to hold out a 1-0 lead. There's also a lot better midfielders you can bring on to hold out a 1-0 lead.
Okay, if you want to hold out a 1-0 lead and you're talking about midfielders, look at the midfielders on our squad and who's going to come on to defend a 1-0 lead. They're all attacking-minded players.
Attacking-minded. Because Calvin Phillips.
I'd bring on Calvin Phillips. I believe that he can do that defensive job. Even though I know you're going to say that you believe he can't, which is perfectly fine, because we only ever see him control the ball and control the flow of the game and hold possession and that. But I do believe if he was tasked with it, he could do it. And he's just a better player than Eric Dier. And that's the thing with the defenders. Technically,
but when it comes to like grinding out a result, and you have Eric Dier, who's a massively defensive-minded player who knows you got the job done, and Calvin Phillips, who you're unsure he's going to get the job done, but you think he can do it, you put Eric Dier on, which proves that Eric Dier's spot isn't wasted.
He plays with a manager who literally grinds out them sort of victories.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, fine. In midfield, there is a valid statement for Dier to come on, but in centre-back, there is no valid argument that he should be brought on. At centre-back, you are sat there with Connor Cody, who I don't think should be in the England squad anyway, but you sat there with Tyrone Mings sat on the bench and possibly should have took Ezri Konsa. They're both sat on the bench and you go to Eric Dier. There is no way in hell that should be a thought process. It should be, okay, Mings, stripped off.
Experience,
yeah, but Mings is just a don't want more of a defensive-minded player to grind out a result than an actual centre-back, not a versatile centre-back.
But that's where experience comes into it. So you got Tyrone Mings, who, yes, is a very good defender, and arguably, as a defender, one-on-one, he's better than Eric Dier. But at the same time, Eric Dier's got that experience in him.
But hasn't Mings has been around years now? He's been
hasn't.
through the
He's been,
championship.
he's been in the England squad for 1 year, and exactly the
Yeah.
championship. It's a different standard.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
nowhere near to what Eric Dyer's played in.
But he's
Eric
been
Dyer's
in-
played in the Portuguese league in sport for Sporting, and then
Yeah.
moved straight to Tottenham in a much more like
So
competitive league.
But when Villa moved up to the Premier League, Tyrone Mings had to learn how to eke out results because they weren't good enough to go.
Tyrone
back
Mings
to-
Yeah, and
was
Villa
awful last
almost
year.
went down.
Yes,
Tyrone
but
Mings
he's
was
still.
awful last
It's the
year.
same as
He was
concept.
absolutely shambolic.
They both worked hard at trying to keep their club up, and this season they have been unreal. They
No,
have
the defensive
results.
side. The defensive side last year for Aston Villa was,
Yeah, it was shocking.
shambolical.
Same as the attacking though. It was all shocking. They stayed up by the skin of their teeth. And
Yeah.
this year you can't blame them because attacking wise they've been exceptional when Jack Grealish is in. And defensively they have been quite solid. To be
But
fair
recently
to
they've
them,
been poor.
they have been poor recently, but so hasn't everybody. Eric Dyer hasn't even been in the squad for Tottenham. Because
Recently,
he doesn't even
but
know.
most of the season he has played.
But that's what I mean. Most of the season, Mings and Konsa have played. And Mings, if the thought process was, I need to defend this, Mings has to be your first name. Like, get yourself stripped off, get yourself warmed up. You're going in at centre-back.
But obviously,
And
if
you're
you think
going in
about
a
it like
back
this,
three.
he's bought 4 centre backs, correct?
Yeah.
He's bought 4 centre backs, and obviously, yeah, Walker can also play centre back.
Yeah, that's...
Technically, he's got 5 if you include Dyer.
And actually, to be fair, you've seen Luke Shaw. He's come in and played centre back
Exactly.
sometimes.
So therefore,
Um,
you just... That's backing up the reason to not even have Dyer anywhere near the squad. Because if Luke Shaw
But if
and
you haven't,
Walker...
we've already described about the midfielders. Like he's
Yeah.
a good team midfielder,
Yeah.
so yeah, he's still in the squad. If you ignore defenders out of it, he's still in the squad.
Even so, there's surely a better defensive midfielder about right now
Okay.
than Eric Dyer.
Say one.
Let me think. I'm trying to
That's
think.
not in the England squad.
That's what I'm doing. I'm,
Defensive midfielder,
I'm
that's not in
trying
England
to
squad.
think, but I'm trying to work it out. Give me a sec. Let me go through the teams.
Go on.
Right, hold on.
Because I honestly don't think there is one, to be honest. So we've just got a lot. We've got a lot of attacking midfielders. That's how we are. Like you, Declan Rice and James. See, to be fair, Declan Rice is our most defensive next to Eric Dyer. James Ward-Prowse is quite an attacking player. If you
For
think
all
about it,
we
but he
know,
does a good centre midfielder
he's
role.
bought Dyer. For all we know, it's classed him as a defender. But for all we know, Southgate's bought him in as a midfielder. Like, the idea that he's in this defensive unit could be completely like subjective.
Yeah,
Southgate
Okay.
might have bought him as that second defensive midfielder that we need.
yeah. And he's literally just listed him as a defender, so he can get around the FA
we don't know
rule.
that. Like, for example, fucking Jim earlier when he thought Saka was in the defenders unit from the FA website. But like I said, that's the FA website. They could have got it completely wrong, which is the same as what we're saying now. Dyer could be as a midfielder, so he's not even included in that
But
defensive unit.
like I said, there is a valid point for Dyer to be in there as a midfielder. I got to Everton and stopped thinking. I was literally sifting through the entire squad. I got to Everton, stopped thinking. I got to Everton and went, Tom Davies, fuck no, and then moved on. But like, there is a valid point for Eric Dyer to be in there as a midfielder, but you can't.
Okay.
You can't.
But at the same time, you said at the start of this that the Eric Dyer being in this squad in general was a waste of space.
It is still. I still think that.
The
Like, there
person
is
I
a-
think is a waste of space, literally.
Connor
He's
Cody.
blatantly- Yeah, 100% blatantly Connor Cody. He shouldn't even be in the squad.
Connor Cody shouldn't be in, and Ezri Konsa should be, but Eric Dyer, he still shouldn't be in there. Like I said, there is an argument that he should be in there because of his midfield, and we haven't got that many defensive midfielders. But for this run of games, maybe because Henderson's not fit, that's why he's in. That's the only reason I can think. Because
Well, that's something I was also going to point in. That's something I was also going to point in when we talk about Jessie Lingard being in the squad. Obviously, he's only had a good 3 months at the moment with West Ham. And I feel like Jessie Lingard, although he's been really good in the Premier League lately, I feel like he's gotten really lucky. Because if Maddison and Grealish are both fit, Lingard doesn't touch this team.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Nowhere near. Unfortunately for him, that's just because Foden's just too good. Then you've got Grealish, is also too good, and Maddison just
Like, he's been very lucky in the sense that Maddison and Grealish have both been injured, and his form has been, you can't ignore it. Like he is at the moment, stats wise, from the last few games, the best attacking midfielder in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
But with that, he's only getting the squad without Grealish and Maddison. Like,
Yeah.
by all means, I'd love him to give a fantastic performance over these next 3 games, and then when the Euros come around, the headache is there that we have to pick between these 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a
I'd
good
love that
headache,
to
like
happen.
it's a bad
It's
headache.
it's a fantastic headache to have, but at the moment, I feel like he's just gotten a bit lucky in the sense that with injuries.
Yeah, I have no arguments there. Obviously, because of the ability what Jack Grealish gives you, and obviously Maddison's on the form of his life as well. It's his best season he's having in a Leicester shirt.
Yeah.
Is it too soon for Jude Bellingham or not?
Yeah.
So I think it is, personally. He's doing fantastically well at Dortmund in the role that he's been given. I don't think it's his best role. At the start of the season, he was performing really well. Since the manager's been let go and the caretaker's come in, he's playing a bit more of a kind of a box to box, maybe a little bit defensive. Like against Sevilla in the Champions League, his defensive performance was outstanding, but he's still only 17.
Exactly.
18.
He's
Like,
100% brought him in for the experience. Even though,
that is an experienced pick, but I do think I don't think it goes to the Euros personally.
No, 100% not. If you're thinking about it, if you're going to take one person from Dortmund, it has to be Sancho.
Yeah, exactly. And Sancho isn't even in this squad.
That's what I was going to get onto next forwards.
That's what I was going to say. You take Ollie Watkins out and bring in Sancho, obviously, but is there anybody else that you think deserves to look?
No, Jim. There's one player. He's 100%.
There's one player that definitely deserves to be in this squad.
So
but
we've just said
injured.
So we've just said that fit Grealish and fit Maddison both make the squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take Jude Bellingham out and you take Lingard out to fit them in. But under the current circumstances, he puts Grealish down as an attacker. So you've got to take Ollie Watkins out and put Grealish in the attacking position, because that's what he's got to be registered down as. He's a left winger.
He could register him down like he's done
As a
with Eric
midfielder.
Dyer.
Yeah,
he
as a midfielder
because
to fit.
he can play left mid or cam. So
to fit Bamford in. So you take Watkins out and you put Bamford in, which is fine. But is there anybody else you think that
you take Saka out and you bring in Sancho?
I wouldn't even. You can't take Saka out.
I think you can, personally. But I'd also argue
you'd have Sterling on the left and Sancho on the right.
Also argue that I know he's a fantastic player, especially for Leeds, but I don't think Calvin Phillips should be in the England squad for the Euros. The midfielders that we have at the moment, the central midfielders, is really good. We have Foden, Rice, Mount, Ward-Prowse, Grealish, Maddison. Fine. I wouldn't put Calvin Phillips in there.
Can I just interject there? So I obviously know what Dal's reply is going to be, but you have to push Grealish up to the attacker point, because when Henderson's fit, he's in the squad, and you have to take Lingard and Bellingham out for Maddison and Henderson. So therefore, you've got to take Watkins out and put Grealish in.
Yeah.
So therefore, you'd either take Calvert-Lewin or Saka out.
This is what you do. So the 3 players you'd get rid of from the midfield would be Jessie Lingard, Jude Bellingham, Calvin Phillips. The people who replace there are James Maddison, Jack Grealish, and Henderson. There's your 3 for 3. If you're going to take a player over Calvin Phillips, it's got to be Henderson.
Okay, so you're taking Henderson, so therefore you got to take Ollie Watkins out and put Sancho in. But you can't take Saka out and put Bamford in.
You can.
You can't?
You can.
You
can.
If you look at this, if you look at the 26-man squad, and we talk about Eric Dyer, you can easily take Eric Dyer out, and as easily stated, you can class Saka as a defender.
If you want to class Saka as a defender, that's fine, and you move Saka down and then bring Bamford in for Dyer as an attacker, I have no qualms with that. But if you take Dyer out and put Konsa in, which is fair, which is perfectly fair.
No, take Cody out, put Konsa in.
Yeah, I'll take Cody and put
Konsa. But you still got to take somebody out for Wan-Bissaka and Trent. Them
and obviously,
come back.
I'd switch Reece James and Kieran Trippier for Trent and Wan-Bissaka.
You wouldn't take Trippier at all. He's winning La Liga. Winning La Liga, you wouldn't take him.
I know I said it earlier, but no. He's had his time in the last World Cup, and that beautiful free kick he gave us, which was the
So,
sweet spot.
He has after the World Cup. He hasn't been in the England squad since, and been perfectly fine. I never said I like Trippier, and I think when it comes to set pieces, he's got the best delivery in the entire of this squad that we've got written down.
Yeah,
but as you said, like we have to go through like the way my hockey club works. For example, we do like 4-year plans where we have 4 years where this group is developed, then this group is developed, and then we move them up. And Trippier is in the previous group. The time is gone.
That's perfectly fine, and that's understandable because we are moving to a new set of young players. So why is Walker in there?
That's all Southgate's decision.
Also,
so for me,
he hasn't played because of Cancelo's been so good. So he hasn't actually.
That's entirely Southgate's decision. That's something that we can't decide. Everyone sees Walker in the team and think it's a stalwart, and that's fine purely because he can work as a right back, he can work as a right wing back, he can work as a centre back. It's the versatility which is similar.
So
to
if you, I know what you're arguing here. You're arguing because you want Reece James in the squad. So if you let's say
no.
Hang on. So you had Trent and Wan-Bissaka in, and the last right back you want is between Walker and Reece James. Who are you going to pick?
Reece James. But you're telling me you dropped Trippier over Walker. Trippier's winning the La Liga. Walker ain't even part of that Man City team, really. He's not playing. Cancelo is literally stopping him from playing.
He has played this season.
Yeah, he has played.
Performed well this season when he's played. And he performed well last season, and he performed well the season before.
Same as Trippier? Same as Trippier?
No.
But
after the World Cup, Trippier had a poor season.
His first season at Atletico was shambolical.
So if we're going by that again, Trippier still played the entire season. Walker hasn't played the entire of this season. Cancelo's kept him out, and when Walker has played, he hasn't looked the player that Cancelo is. And what I'm saying is,
we've already said that Dier gets into the squad even though he hasn't played all season.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. If you drop Trippier, you've surely got to drop Walker and bring them both in, and then you've still got to drop Connor Cody and Eric Dier. Which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, okay. If you had the choice between Kyle Walker and Trippier, I'd drop Trippier because Kyle Walker's much more versatile.
But you have the choice to.
I'd take Walker and I'd drop Trippier. I wouldn't drop them both. You can take Walker as a centre back,
which is fine. Which I understand because I like Walker as a centre back. I really do. Like I think he works as a centre back and a right back. He's using his pace really well. But in current terms, the way we're speaking, like. The form that Trippier's in and the way he's been playing, which is really good, and the form that Walker's in doesn't warrant him being picked same as Dier. And we've all said that Trent and Wan-Bissaka walk into the squad when they're not.
So the difference is this season, right? So Walker's actually played more games than Trippier this season.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Walker's played 35 games and Trippier's only played 25.
Yeah.
So that just shows that he's not a waste of space. He's still got it in. He's playing.
I didn't say it was a waste of space, but he doesn't. Those 35 games, there's a lot of them have come off a substitution, though.
I wouldn't say that.
I would, because Cancelo's the
not
first.
Not necessarily, though.
If I'm Guardiola, I'm sat there and I'm like, okay, Gundogan is the first name, then Cancelo, John Stones, Ruben Dias.
Cancelo's only been really picking up in the second half of the season. He's
been playing left back the majority of the season as well. You got to wonder Cancelo, and Walker's been playing right back for a little bit.
Cancelo's just still outperformed him.
But he plays left back at the most of the season.
Yeah,
it's only recently that Zinchenko's come in and performed really well.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine as well. But fit players like. Hypothetically, you've gone on Football Manager and you've remove all injuries from the England squad, right? Fit players, Walker and Trippier don't make the squad for me.
Walker does. Because of his experience of playing at that level. The guy is literally he's been playing at that level for such a long time. He's a winner at heart. You know that because that's why he's gone to Man City, because he's a winner and he's gone there and won stuff. So you know when you play Walker, he's going to give it his all and he's going to try and win it. Yeah, there's always been eyes on Walker. You know what I mean? Like, even when he's been playing at centre-back and right-back, there's always been eyes at him. But he's a winner at heart and he wants to win the game. And he's got it in his locker to ping a 30-yard, 40-yard pass. He's got the ability to outpace any right back or left back, and he's even got the ability to run back down quicker than any other right back that we've got. Any other right back, 100%.
When we talk about the Euros, obviously the major issue we have is it's actually a smaller squad. So we named 26-man squads for all the qualifiers, but for the Euros, we're only allowed to take 23. So with all this considered, that we've been planning Walker being in a squad as a 26-man squad, and we've got a 26-man squad. We've got Bamford in, we've got Grealish in, we've got Maddison, you've got Phillips, Lingard missing out, Bellingham missing out, all what we've said today. You've still got to cut 3 names because you still have to take 3 goalkeepers as a rule.
Watkins,
do you still take Walker?
All things considered, with like this squad, right? This 26-man squad that's giving us right now, I've got to cut 3 players out of it.
Not including the ones we've already switched out. So you take out Cody for Konsa, you take out Lingard and Phillips and Bellingham for Henderson, Maddison and Grealish, etc.
Yeah.
You take out Watkins, put Bamford in, all that lot.
Yeah.
Then you still have to take 3 off it for the Euros.
Well, I take Bamford off. That's a no-brainer.
So you're only going with 2 strikers.
Or I'll take Calvert-Lewin out and keep Bamford in if he keeps performing the way he does. Calvert-Lewin's really good, but you can't dispute how good Bamford's been this season. Unfortunately,
I'm gonna clip that and tweet it constantly.
As much as it pains me to say, you can't dispute how good he's played, which is fine.
Okay, this is what I'm going to ask you go now. I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
So, because we've had a long discussion, and I think that we're coming up to the end of this discussion. We've been talking about it for a while now. So, we're going to name a 23-man squad. I've wrote down all the players that ain't here. So, obviously, I've wrote down Pickford and Ramsdale if you want to include that, because we have to include 3 goalkeepers. I've wrote down Jack Grealish and Maddison. I've wrote down also Sancho and Bamford. They're the other 2 players who could arguably, maybe Antonio, if you want to do Antonio, you could take him as a right back. For God's sake, you know what I mean?
Trent and Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I've wrote down Trent and Wan-Bissaka as well. And Henderson. I need Henderson, yeah. And so, Jim, name me your 23-man squad.
Well,
So,
Johnston,
keepers.
the keepers are the same, bar Johnston and Pickford. Just swap them 2 out. Unless if Johnston makes a mad run till the end of the season where he doesn't concede another goal, then take Pickford out still. My defence, I'd have Ben Chilwell is still in. Maguire, Stones, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Can somebody write my players down, please? Because I can't keep track of my head and work out the players.
Okay, Pickford, Nick Pope. So you said Ben Chilwell. So is he definite? So Ben Chilwell, Maguire.
Yeah.
You said Shaw as well.
Shaw. Stones. Those are the certain 4.
Okay.
Then is this everybody's fit? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone 100% fit.
Okay, so you've got to take Trent and Wan-Bissaka.
Trent and AWB, yeah.
Mings has got to go. How many is that?
That's 6 now. That's 6 players you've chosen.
For the defender, you mean?
Yeah, for the defenders, yeah. Is you 9 altogether?
9. Okay, well, I'll just name them and then I'll come back and revisit it. Right, so midfielders, Foden, Mount, Declan Rice, Henderson.
That's 4 so far. That's 13 altogether.
And that's without mentioning Grealish or Maddison.
I'm just trying to work it out. Yeah, obviously Maddison.
I mean, you can take Ruben Loftus-Cheek if you want to.
Why would I take him? He's a class player and he's really good, and I do love him.
Because you absolutely love him.
But I wouldn't take him. I'm whimsical, but I'm not a maniac. Yeah, so I'd go Maddison. Move on to the forwards.
Okay.
Move up to the forwards. Kane, yes. Sterling, yes. Rashford, yes. If Bamford continues the way he is, he's an obvious yes. So that's 4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah,
Mhm.
4 so far.
So I've got 6 players left. Have I got an extra centre back?
No, you've only mentioned Maguire and Stones and Mings.
And Mings. So there's my extra centre back at the minute. Don't worry, I'm coming back to it. My midfield is Henderson, Maddison, Dice.
You got 19 players so far. You got 4 players left.
I know, that's what I'm working out. Henderson, Maddison. I said Dice. Jesus, Rice. What are my midfielders?
Foden, Mount, Rice, Henderson, Maddison.
Foden, Mount, Henderson, Rice, Maddison. That's 5. Okay. My strikers are Kane.
Sterling, Rashford, and Bamford.
Okay, so I'd take Michael Keane as another centre back.
Okay.
Okay, 3 more people.
I'm trying to think if I've missed anybody. Saka and Sancho. Forgot them too. There's no.
Got 1 more player.
How many? One more player left.
Yeah, he's only got 1 more player left.
Is there somebody I missed? I'm trying to think. So I've got 2 strikers, 2 wingers each side. 2 wingers each side. Have I missed Grealish? If I've missed Grealish, put Grealish in attackers.
Attackers, I'll just stick him in midfielders. Because you've only got 5 midfielders.
Yeah, stick him in midfielders then. So I've got 2 on each side, 2 attackers, 6 midfielders. That covers a middle 3. 2 centre backs each, 2 full backs, and 3 goalkeepers. Yeah. Sorry, that's really hard to work out when you've already picked someone and you're like, have I covered it? Because you got to pick it and then pick your cover.
Okay, so that's your 23-man squad.
That is my 23-man squad. Yeah.
What's yours?
It picks itself really, but yeah.
So Henderson, Pickford, Pope.
Yeah.
Alex has written it down, by the way.
I've just got loads of player names written down. I haven't written it all down.
Oh, okay.
Defenders, AWB and Trent.
Yeah.
Chilwell and Luke Shaw.
Okay. Yeah, that's your wingers covered.
Yeah. Maguire, Stones.
Yeah.
Tyrone Mings
Okay.
and Kyle Walker.
Okay. That's your defender sorted, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Midfielders.
Midfielders, right. So Grealish
Yeah.
is on there. Rice is on there.
Yeah.
I'm taking Foden.
Yeah.
Foden. I don't know why I say it that way. I don't know why I say that way at
Foden.
all. That's 3 midfield so far, isn't it?
Yeah.
Henderson.
Yeah.
How many spaces have I got left altogether?
1, 2, 3. You have 8 places. No, yeah, 8 places left.
8 places left, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
You got 15 so far.
Okay, so Sancho, Rashford.
Okay, Sancho. Yep.
Sancho, Rashford, Sterling,
Yep.
Harry Kane,
Yep.
Patrick Bamford.
Yep.
How many have I got left now? 3 or 4?
3 left.
3 left. Right.
This is
Who was saying Who said it? Who was said in midfield? It's because I haven't
You
written it
said,
down.
you said Grealish, Rice, Foden, and Henderson.
Henderson. Okay. Madison as well.
Yep. 2 picks left.
Yep. And the other one would be Ward-Prowse.
Yep.
And then one left. I'm just trying to think of a winger. Or something of the sort. Hudson-Odoi as a fucking random one. Why not?
Fair enough.
Okay.
That was so difficult.
It is, isn't it? When you're trying to think about it and then trying to add up, and then trying to add up how many players you've picked and who you've picked and what position they are, without writing it all down in front of you, it's so difficult.
I was stuck at the end between Saka, but I don't know. I just don't think it'd be game changing.
Right.
Whereas Hudson-Odoi, I feel like he would be.
That's a fair point. To be fair, the only thing you've changed from me is Walker and Hudson-Odoi.
And James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse.
Who did I pick extra?
You took a lot of attacking midfielders. You picked Mason Mount. I didn't pick Mason Mount. I know it's been good this season, but there's better options at the moment.
Right, I'm going to take Hendo, Pickford, Pope. So there's my first 3.
When I'm editing this, I might put
I'm
a football
also-
pitch up on each of our screens and just fire it on.
Okay. Okay, so my first 3 is Hendo, Pickford, and Pope.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
think the goalkeepers, without injuries, are set. I mean, we all set the same ones. Those are the 3 best English goalkeepers we have. Johnston, they're definitely unlucky.
Just misses out.
Those are the 3.
4 and 5 number for me will be Wan-Bissaka and Trent.
Yeah.
Obviously, 6 and 7 will be Luke Shaw and Chilwell.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will.
You hear that, Lewis? No fucking Matt Target.
Yeah, Lewis. Or Matty Cash, you weirdo.
I will say,
And then-
Edward Concert, I felt sorry for, but
Yeah.
I've chose Walker instead.
And then
I had to
8
choose
and
Michael
9.
Keane.
8 and 9, Stones and Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
far, we've all decided that those like the 8 are like
Exactly
set.
the same.
Those are the ones that have to be on the
we all
plane
know
no
who's
matter what.
starting. Like, as much as we're arguing, like, who should we take? We're only taking cover. Like, the starting players are. Well, it's debatable at right back, but left back it's Luke Shaw because of his performance. Then you've got
Maguire, Stones.
and then flip a coin for whoever plays right back.
Yeah.
Between them on the match day.
Carry on down.
okay, so I'm going to just move on to midfielders and come back to defenders later.
Okay.
So my defo number 9 will be Phil Foden. Number 10 will be Declan Rice. And then 11, 12 will be Jack Grealish and Maddison. My 13th will be Henderson. And then I'm going to move to forwards for now. And 100% number 14 will be Harry Kane. 15 will be Sterling. 16 Rashford. 17 Sancho. And then I will make my last attacker for now 18th Bamford. So that leaves me with 5 places left.
Did you choose Grealish?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and then I'm going to come back to midfield and take James Ward-Prowse, number 19. And
I want to point out, interesting that both me and you said Ward-Prowse and Jim didn't. A couple of weeks ago, Jim's exact words were James Ward-Prowse should start at the Euros.
I know, and I 100%. I hold my hands up and say I said it. And
Yeah.
if I had an extra place, like if I could,
It's
to be
difficult,
fair,
man.
yeah.
Like I said, if it's a 26-man squad, it's a little bit easier. But
Yeah.
as soon as you have to realise it's 23, it's
Like-
so difficult.
like for me, if it's so hard because if Ward-Prowse was to perform like he has right until the last day of the season, I'd sit there and be like, I'd be on the phone to Mason Mount and Ward-Prowse and be like, lads, guess a number between 1 and 10. The closest one goes.
That was the one between me. The only reason I didn't take Mount is because I've got like Maddison and Grealish and Foden, and they're at the Phil Foden is such a generational talent in my opinion. You cannot not take him.
Yeah, he picks himself. Like,
Yeah, he's Yeah,
He-
he'll be the best English player for years if he just continues the way he's going.
What happened is with the squad selection, he texts Southgate saying, "You're right, boss,
Yo,
I'm
when
playing."
am I leaving? When am I leaving?
I've already got my plane ticket, boss. Don't worry.
Yeah, man.
Carry on,
Carry on.
Because he's still working.
Yeah, I was literally. It's good because you give me time to actually figure it
Yeah,
out.
difficult. And when you want to roll, and you're like, shit, I need to stop and think about it. a minute.
Obviously, number 20, I'm going to also take Kyle Walker. Number 21, I'm actually going to take Eric Dier.
Okay, I thought
For
about
me.
Eric Dier as well, but I've picked timings instead. I think I said
Because the beauty of Eric Dier is because if it's a 23-man squad, you can actually
you can put him in all of them.
centre mid and centre back. That's the beauty of his versatility.
When I was down to 3 left, he was like one of the 4 that I was picking between.
And then my 22, I'm going to probably have. This is the hard part.
Have you taken Jordan Henderson?
He hasn't taken so far. He hasn't said Rashford or Sancho.
No, I have
No,
said
he has.
Rashford.
Right,
I have said
oh.
Sancho. Rashford is number 16. Sancho's number 17.
Oh, okay. I was zoned out at that point.
We were too busy talking about chatting shit about Phil
yeah,
Foden.
Phil Foden.
I'd probably take another striker, just in case, because injuries can happen, and it'd have to be Calvert-Lewin, so he'd be my 22.
Interesting.
Who are you
Very-
missing out? There's somebody you're missing out.
Saka and Ollie Watkins in forwards.
That we've picked.
I haven't chose
Sterling.
Mount. I have chose Sterling. Sterling's 15.
You haven't
Okay.
chose Mount. You haven't chose Ward-Prowse.
I have chose Ward-Prowse.
Did choose Ward-Prowse.
It's so hard to keep track. Jesus.
Just go back and listen to it. I'll tell you the full 23-man squad in a
I
second.
don't think he's picked Henderson.
I have picked Jordan Henderson. He's my 13.
I like how we just haven't listened to anything Dale said.
You really haven't. Thanks, boys. I appreciate it.
Everyone, you haven't said him, have you? Yeah, I said him a while
You mentioned
ago.
Jack Grealish. Yeah, I've mentioned Jack Grealish. But it's
God,
because
have you said Pickford?
obviously Kyle Walker as well. He can play centre back and right back.
That's
so,
why I picked him.
Yeah, Dier can play centre mid, defensive mid, and centre back. So
Get to your last two. Come on. 'Cause I want
it's
to
my
see...
last one. It's my last one.
Last one.
My last one will probably be
Oh, yeah, because he chose Calvert-Lewin.
maybe I'm torn between Lingard and Mason Mount. That's who I'm really torn between, to be honest.
Tell me all like what you've got so far, bro.
So this is my midfield so far: Grealish, Maddison, Henderson, Declan Rice, James Ward-Prowse, and Phil Foden.
Okay, tell me your defenders.
Defenders are Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Trent, Chilwell, Dier, Maguire, Shaw, Stones, and Walker. Defenders are fine. I've got too many defenders. Attackers are Calvert-Lewin, Kane, Rashford, Sterling, Bamford, Sancho. So I feel like I need to take another midfielder. And I'm torn between Lingard.
I feel like your squad is unreal compared to ours. You keep naming players that you said, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing is, obviously, I'll send you all the photos. Like,
Yeah.
the thing is that it sounds like I have a lot more players than you, but I don't. 'Cause I've been numbering them going along.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
weird.
count them now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, we've got 22 players. I need one more player, and
And you've got
I'm going
six
to
attackers.
Mason Mount.
Mason
23.
Mount.
Yeah, Mason Mount it is. He's made the team. Sorry, Jesse, my boy. But yeah, that's pretty much my penultimate.
Mm.
So because obviously the beauty of it is Walker and Dier can both play centre backs. That's my 4 centre backs, and obviously they can play other positions as well.
Jim's counting.
He didn't choose Mings or Keane. That's what confused me. So like you chose Mings, but you chose Walker. He hasn't chose Mings or Keane. That's what confused me. So like
Okay.
if I go back, I had to go back through and count my players that I chose. I was like, I swear, there's somebody missing. You've basically chose the same midfield, the same strikers, but
Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah,
He's taking
but-
an extra strike. He's taking an extra striker.
The reason why I'm taking Calvert-Lewin is because yes, he's like Kane physical, but I feel like he's a quicker physical. and you could argue with that he's actually more stronger than Kane and better in the air than Kane.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a decent argument.
and obviously,
The only reason, so I took Kane and Bamford as my strikers, and then I've also got Rashford, who I can put up top if I need to, because then if I want to put someone on the wing, I can put like Grealish on the wing if I need to, who's made the left wing his own.
obviously, the thing
Sterling,
is,
Sancho.
I've obviously sacrificed 2 right wingers. But to be fair, Sterling has played right winger. He doesn't perform well there, but he has played right winger. Same as Rashford, you can put him on the right, but he doesn't perform well there, but he can perform, can play on the right. Sancho, obviously, in and out right midfielder.
Yeah.
Rashford and Sterling, you'd have a headache between choosing between them on a day-to-day basis, because Sterling's not been performing this season. Rashford's he's been okay. He ain't been horrible. He ain't been like last season, but he's been performing better than Sterling, I'd argue. But
I'd argue this season Rashford's been better than Sterling.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that I feel like it's harsh, and I feel like that's just because Man City have been so good that Sterling hasn't needed to perform, whereas Man United have been all right but haven't been great, and that's allowed Rashford to stand out a bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
I feel like overall they're actually doing pretty similar in performance-wise, but because Rashford's standing out more in a half-decent Man United side than Sterling is in a world-class Man City side, I feel like that's why everyone's looking at Rashford instead of him.
Yeah, you're right. But I believe that'll conclude our England talk.
That was a lot longer than I expected it to be, but I love it. I can't wait for the actual Euro squad to be announced, and we can just go ham and hate the fact that he's picked Dier and Greenwood for no reason.
Hey, mate, Dier's in my squad all day.
He picks Dier, he picks Greenwood, he picks Calvin Phillips. He just doesn't pick anybody normal.
Greenwood, that's another player. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought about Greenwood, but he's not ready, especially this season. He's been poor.
Also, he won't get picked for a long time anyway. That stuff that happened in Iceland hangs over him like a bad cloud.
Well, like, I feel like it's unfortunate because Foden still gets picked. I know, still but that's because Foden's performed this season, whereas Greenwood hasn't.
Foden is a different gravy, and he really, you know what I mean? He is. He just is.
I'm gonna tell you something really controversial, then, but I ain't gonna say. I'll tell you after we've gone off the air. So that was a very long England chat, boys. As I've said, I'm looking forward to the actual Euro squad being announced, so we can delve out into it. I'm looking forward to, if we keep doing this as long as we were planning on doing it, I'm looking forward to talking about the Euros with you boys. I really am. Like, this is all new and exciting to us, and we're all really enjoying it. So anyone who listens, thank you very much. Just keep in touch as much as you can. Let us know. So we're on Instagram, but we don't upload on there at all much. We have Twitter, which is starting to do more, which is game_halves. Follow us on there, on our Facebook page, which is a Game of Two Halves podcast, where we upload highlights and stuff. And obviously the YouTube channel, which is just a Game of Two Halves. Find us all on there. Anything else, just, we'll all be in touch as much as we can. Thank you for listening, guys. Say bye.
See you later, guys.
See you later, guys. Until next time.
Peace.